You want to know why Batman shouldn't kill? Let's talk about it. It's not as simple as just killing is bad, which generally it is, but I want to really dig into why Batman doesn't kill and why that's the right decision. And if you want to talk more, let's talk in the comments or check us out on Discord. The link is in the description. So first off, it's not that Batman believes no one should ever kill. He's been willing to kill, or at least attempt it, to save the universe. You can see when he shot Darkseid, even though he wasn't the one who ultimately killed him, clearly he knew what might happen if he did that. So he knows there's times where that's necessary. But for him personally, it's different. I think that he understands that in certain cases, other people may have to defend themselves. I don't think he's going to think that some woman who saves herself from an angry ex has done anything wrong. But the no kill rule for him, it's more like an alcoholic who says they're never going to take another drink. Because after losing his parents, Bruce is always just terrified that he's going to open the door to some dark side of himself that was created by that trauma. And if he opens that door, it may unleash something in him that he can't control and that he can't get back in. I saw somebody who was talking about how they're wondering, is it scientifically accurate that you could somehow do something wrong and then all of a sudden you just can't control yourself anymore? As far as I know, that's not scientifically accurate. I don't think that that's really what drives Batman anyway. It's more like that idea of like an alcoholic having just one drink. You can't have just one drink if you're an alcoholic. And Batman's trauma has led to him having that same kind of reaction. He's always wrestling with this anger and grief and a desire for vengeance, but he refuses to kill. He does not give in to those impulses, those dark urges. And that's how he makes sure that he stays on the side of justice instead of descending into brutality and vengeance. And that's where there maybe will be some controversy here. I don't know if maybe some people may disagree, but I don't think Batman is vengeance, regardless of what he may have said himself in the cartoon or a movie or whatever. He's not just about stopping criminals. He's about doing it in the right way. And he's justice, not vengeance. If you compare him to the Punisher, you can see, and I've talked about this before, I think they're really interesting moral dichotomies, maybe. It's like a interesting philosophical juxtaposition. I don't know if there's a word for it, but in so many ways, they're opposites. And the Punisher, he's vengeance. Of course, if you listen to him in the 2004 movie, unless you were smart enough not to see that. In that movie, Frank Castle says, revenge isn't a valid motive. It's an emotional response. No, not vengeance, punishment. And I think they just thought that that was a cool line to have in the movie. Whoever wrote that line, somebody needs to give them a dictionary, because that's what vengeance is. It's punishment for a wrong that somebody has done. It's retribution. And the Punisher punishes because he's driven by vengeance. And the Retributor doesn't sound like a very cool name, so he's the Punisher. Batman, on the other hand, he's driven by justice. That's why he works with the police. That's why he supports rehabilitation programs. And it's why he doesn't kill. Because in his mind, killing is vengeance, not justice. That's not to say that vengeance is bad. It's just not his place to deliver that vengeance. Which leads me to the more important, bigger point of the video, which is why Batman shouldn't kill. Of course, for one thing, it's against the law. That's a good reason. We have laws for a reason, and Batman is not any more above the law than anybody else. Of course, Batman breaks the law all the time. Assault, breaking and entering, illegal surveillance, kidnapping, endangering the public. For him, I don't think it makes sense to say that he's law and order or that he stands for law and order. In a way he does, but it's kind of like somebody, I don't know, it's kind of like fighting fire with fire, I guess, because he has these vigilante methods and they allow him to do things the police could not do. He kind of skirts the law, breaks the law, bends the law to bring people to justice. But he still doesn't believe that he has the right to be the judge, jury, and executioner. He wasn't elected or appointed to hand out final justice in Gotham. He's there to stop crime. not to decide who lives or dies. I think if you look at some of the comics, you can see that he believes that even the worst of Gotham deserve their day in court, due process. If you read, there's a comic, I cannot find it anywhere. I've not read it. I shouldn't say I can't find it anywhere. I've found it a couple of places. I found it on Amazon. It was $200. I was talking to Absolute Temple on Discord. Remember, check that link in the description. Come say hello. And he found it somewhere for $80. But I can't really afford to collect comics at this point. So until it comes out on Comixology or something, I'm not going to be able to read it. But the story is Joker is taken in. He's on death row for murdering all these people by poisoning the backs of these stamps. Batman knows he didn't do it, and Batman fights to prove that Joker didn't do it. That is how much he believes in justice. And that is really cool. The idea that somebody can really practice what they preach, walk the walk, talk the talk, all that. I like that. There's not enough of that. Too many people have views that kind of merge to fit whatever they want to believe. It's this way until I need it to be that way. I like that about Batman. He does things in a way that the police can't. Captures these criminals through questionable means, but then he turns them over to the authorities. So justice is ultimately served through the proper channels, even if it's brought about in a way that is maybe not fully legal or legal at all. It's interesting to think about. There's a lot of different layers to that. It's kind of like when people talk about how, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have the right to have freedom of speech on any social network. So you can't just go on YouTube and say whatever you want because YouTube's a private company. I'm not sure if this analogy is making sense, but it's like, you have this constitutional right to no illegal search and seizure, but, Batman's not the government. He's breaking the law. So it may be that he needs to be brought to justice as well, but he won't because he's Batman and they won't be able to catch him. I think it's kind of like that. All that being said, when someone's life is in immediate danger, Batman should be willing to do whatever it takes to protect innocent lives. I don't know for sure that he is willing to do that. We have seen him come close to killing people when the stakes are high and it's to save lives, but I don't know what he would do in every situation. Other than that, he should stay committed to his mission, to justice, and to ensuring that Gotham does not lose hope. So what do you think? Should Batman stick to the no-kill rule? Or is it a gray area? Do you think he ought to be a little more flexible? Have there been some times where you feel like he should have been a little more like the Punisher than Batman? Are there some times that he let somebody live who he shouldn't? I think the real question is, why aren't all these guys put to death like the Joker? Really? Clearly, in this case, you got a guy who, regardless of how you feel about the death penalty generally, when you've got somebody you can't keep him locked up, he's killing people every day. That's kind of like just defense of the public. I think that's where the death penalty, makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like talking about stuff like this. And check us out in the Discord. Look forward to talking to you.